Margin Call, Triple Frontier, I think they all sort of ask the question, what does it take to survive? Both on a literal and I would say like moral sacrifice level.
Yeah.
And I was really interested, how does Kraven answer that question?
The film is R-rated, and so on one side there is this, heightened, stylized violence that we're using in the film. But I think when people get a chance to see the whole film, there also is sort of a look at where that comes from and why, and in a weird way, the sort of psychic or emotional violence that kind of leads this character into thinking that this is the right path, because it's that vigilante stories. I think when the film ends, people will realize that maybe isn't a path that you don't pay a price for. So, look, this is meant to be a big, fun Friday night, popcorn picture, and it certainly, I think, delivers on that. But there's a family kind of saga that all was from the origins of the comic books that we're looking at in the film. That I hope when the final frames roll, people will see that there is a connection to my other work.
Glory trophy. Let him be righteous still,
just like our Father.
When the man comes around.
And a big part of that seems to be this R rating, which is the first of this kind of set of Sony Marvel movies. Was that something already in place?
Yeah, I never said it had to be, but the fairly early on in the process, the studio brought it up as a possibility, and it wasn't something that I sort of took super lightly. There are certain things that happen actually more on the character side and on the parent-son relationship, and there's some things that happen in the section of the film where these guys are teenagers, where we were able to do some story things that kind of explain some of the foundation for how this guy becomes this crazy killer guy. And we never would have been able to do that if we hadn't, gone that extra mile.
In your mind, this sort of end point, would it be a case of Spider-Man kind of entering this darker, bloodier world you established, or is Kraven going to come out and go into the Spider-Man
Yeah,
world?
I mean, look, that's above my it's above my pay grade. As a filmmaker, what we were doing was using this film as a film that could stand on its own, and I think when people see it, they will realize we're creating a group of characters that hopefully when the film is done, you'll want to see, this film, and the stories that we've created here move forward.
When the man comes around.
Embrace who you really are, son.
I have loved what Russell Crowe has been doing recently, and the way that he's really amplifying this thing that he's always done well, which is like being so imposing in a scene, and yet there's like a softness, there's a sadness in the eyes.
Yeah.
So I wondered what kind of conversations you had with him about that approach and building that kind of performance.
It's a great question. When he showed up on our set, look, I'm a kid of the 90s, so like his Hallmark films are like, they have a big part in my filmmaking heart. And so when he walked on our set, I think it was kind of on day 30 or something, sort of in the middle of our shoot, it was like suddenly there was an electricity in the room, just having someone of that caliber kind of show up. Even me, who's seen the movie a bunch of times, when he shows up, it's like, you're like, oh my God, there is that electricity. The work that he kind of does here, even though it is this big, boisterous kind of, fun film, there is something heartbreaking, because it is weirdly, it's just a small little family drama at the heart of this film.